Well, hello, everybody. This is Byron Belka calling in from Houston, Texas. And I'm excited to take a few minutes as I'm on the road to share on this Saturday training another key concept and principle of building the business. And one of the things that I love about what we do here and what we teach, and what I love about this industry, is it is a very, very simple industry. I'm not saying it's easy, but the principles are simple. And the reason that I love principles is because they're universal and they don't change. And so if we can focus in on the principles, the theories, maybe approaches and those types of things change over time. But principles are the same and they're universal. And so as we get into this portion of the rain cycle today, I want you to kind of pay attention to some of the key principles of what we're going to be talking about. Now, as we look at the rain cycle, which what we're trying to accomplish through this process is we want it to rain in your business. And what I love about the name of our company and the seeds and everything that we talk about here is really rain is what brings life and growth to the world, and it can bring life and growth to your organization as you follow these processes. And the system is the key. And so today, as we focus on launching your business, uh, I want to start off by kind of telling you when I got started in this business, one of the reasons I believe that I saw success and how I was launched. Um, Now, I had a friend of mine who would always sign me up into these network marketing companies. And, I don't know why I had that bullseye on my head, but he always called me every time he was doing something new. Now, he was successful at it, but I wasn't. And the reason that I wasn't is because I wasn't passionate about it. I had never had a positive experience with it. I never really engaged. I would sign up, and that was about it. And it wasn't until I had somebody kind of take me by the arm and take me through a process that I was able to see results. And I remember, the day that I joined, I basically joined for the same reason that I had joined in the past, and that was, well, of course, I'll try the product, but I really joined so that my friend wouldn't bug me anymore. And he said, "You need to do me a favor this time, Byron. I want you to do something, and you need to go out to dinner with this gentleman." And as I went to dinner that night with this gentleman, for the first time, I got excited about networking. And during the course of the dinner, as he explained a lot of different things to me, he said three things. The first thing that he said to me was, "Byron, I've been doing this a long time. And if I team and lock arms with you, I'm going to spend time away from my family, from other things to help you grow and succeed in your business." He said, "You better be worth it. Don't waste my time." The second thing that he said is, "I've heard every excuse in the book. I've been doing this a while. So don't give me any excuses." And then the third thing that he said was, "If are you going to do this or not? Because if you don't know, then who knows?" And, I said, "Yeah, I'm going to do it." And I remember driving home that night thinking to myself, what am I committing to? Because after I had said those three things, what he did is he wrote on a piece of paper, he wrote a conference call number down, and he wrote a code. And he passed it to me across the table and said, "Okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to get 10 people on this phone call, on this phone line, this conference bridge tomorrow at 2 p.m. Now, I had a mortgage company. I was a business owner. I had other business. I had other things going on. Like I said, it was the refi boom during this time frame when I was in the mortgage industry. I was busy. 2 p.m. wasn't a very convenient time at all. Not only for me, but probably for most people. But what did he just say? He told me that, no excuses. He told me that he didn't want to be wasting this time. And so I basically accepted the invitation and said, "All right, I'll get 10 people on there tomorrow at 2." And it was about 11 p.m. at night. I was driving home, so there wasn't too many people that I could call. And I remember that next day getting up, getting into work early and starting to get on the phone and try to call some people to get on this scheduled conference bridge at 2 p.m. Now we were getting close to 2, and I didn't have 10 people. Now I started to get a little bit nervous because I didn't want to fall short of the expectation. And like I said, I was impressed with this gentleman. I knew he'd seen a lot of success. He was a multimillionaire in the industry, a very successful entrepreneur and businessman. And so I remember I called my dad. Now, my dad doesn't like this industry. And so I called up my dad and I said, Dad, can you do me a favor? I've got this call at 2 o'clock. I'm not trying to sign you up. I just need you to stick your ear to the phone. I need you to do me a favor and stick your ear to the phone. And he said, all right, I'll do that. And I remember hanging up the phone and thinking, you know what, that worked. So then I called up my cousin and I said the same thing. Can you do me a favor and just stick your ear to the phone? Once again, guys, I wasn't seasoned at all. I didn't know what to do, what not to do. I just was trying to get people on that phone call. And by 2 o'clock, I had 10 people on the call. And so my mentor gets on there, starts to explain the opportunity, what's going on. And then after the call, we hang up and my phone starts to ring. And the first person that called me back was my dad. And, I picked up the phone and said, Dad, thanks so much for getting on that call. I appreciate you doing that. And he said, well, you're welcome. Who do I give the money to? Do I give it to you or that guy? And I thought to myself, you're serious? You want to do this? Okay, I got 10 people on that phone call, and 9 out of the 10 people joined my business. Now, I know that that's not normal, but I didn't know that then, and I know that, but that's really what happened to me, and that's how I got started in the business. Now, if he wouldn't have put that pressure on me, if he wouldn't have helped me launch my business that way, then what would have probably happened? The same thing that happened the other times I joined. I joined, nothing happened. There was no pressure, there was no urgency, there was no expectation, and I did nothing. And because I did nothing, obviously my interest never increased. And because I never saw results, how can I get passionate about and excited about the business? Now, after those 9 people joined, I signed up with there was about 2 to 3 days left in the month. And because they'll let you backdate a little bit. That's why I say 2 to 3. They usually let you backdate a day in the next month or so. It was a monthly plan that I was a part of. And so my mentor said, you got 9 people. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to get 15 people by the end of the month. Okay, so I didn't have a lot of time. I was able to go out and get 12 people, and I thought that I was a failure because he told me 15, and I didn't get 15. But because I was expected to get 15 and I got 12, what do you think I expected out of my team that next month? I had a whole month to go out and do it. I expected every single one of them to get 15. And you know what? We started to grow and explode. And, I saw some pretty significant checks my first 3 months getting into the business based on, getting all these people involved. And that's when I decided to go full time. Now, the reason that I want to share that with you is because as we talk about getting involved in the business, as we talk about bringing people and actually being a sponsor and helping people get off the ground, it's so important that we launch their businesses and we help them launch. Now, I know a lot of times when you get somebody involved, we're so excited that they just joined our team that we don't want to put too much added pressure on them. But that's exactly when they need to have it. That's exactly when we need to say, this is what we need you to do to see success, because they're looking to us for guidance. They're looking to us as the experts on what do I do now? I'm excited. I love what you're saying. I love what you're showing. Show me the direction to put my time and energy. And so what we need to do, guys, is we need to create that urgency and we need to help people launch their businesses. And the reason that we call it a launch is because this is when we need to put a lot of the energy up front right now. Just like getting that rocket off the ground where they're going to use 80% of that fuel, getting it into the atmosphere. That's what we need to do in this business, because this business, it's funny. My mentor always taught me that when you bring somebody in the business, you have 2 weeks. You light a fuse and you have 2 weeks to help these people see results before it's almost like a bomb. You lit that fuse in 2 weeks. If they don't see anything, or they're not excited, or they haven't had a product testimonial or had a positive experience in the business, they're going to explode. Now, the powerful thing about what we're doing is our product is so powerful, and we're having so many positive experiences out of that. That's only a benefit in our favor. But that doesn't mean we don't need to go out and help launch people's businesses. So as we talk about the launch today, I'm here to tell you, over 10 years later, that's made all the difference in me being where I'm at right now, joining this business, seeing a result, and making the decision to do this full time. And once again, I'm very, very grateful, even though it was uncomfortable, and even though it took me out of my element, and I wasn't even quite sure what I was doing. I'm forever grateful that somebody launched me the right way and put the pressure on me when I needed the pressure to be put on, so that I did something. Because there's no way that people are going to join your business if they don't hear about it. There's no way that people are going to get excited about the product if they don't try it. There's no way that can happen if we don't put the energy and the faith and the belief forward and turn that into action. All right. And then once I saw the results from that action, obviously that fire and that fuel and that belief increases. Now, remember, every single one of us, none of us perform at our abilities. Every single one of us, we perform to our belief levels. And as we have people see positive experiences and they see what's going on and they feel like they have a roadmap and they learn this system and they learn how to duplicate, guys, their belief in what's going on increases. Their belief in themselves and the company, everything increases. And because of that, the productivity increases and so does the outcome. So as we get into this, what do you really need to launch your business? Well, obviously you're going to need your foundation piece. You're going to need that fuel that we've talked about in the foundation. You're going to need people to call. You're going to need that list. And that's why it's important that these things are steps. This is a cycle. It's a step. You go from one step to the next, where you really can't jump over one to get to the next. I mean, you can do some small things along the way, like we talk about in the commitment letter. But what we're trying to do is get people to move from the step to the next step to the next step. If we really want to launch somebody's business, we need to have those things in place. All right. So really what we want to do is we want to have these people have their grand opening, launch their business. And the way that we do this is I want somebody a minimum to have 2 to 4 launches, a minimum, in their first 2 days, or sorry, first 2 weeks. In their first 2 weeks, we need to do 4 launch meetings for them. Those can be online, those can be at home. The reason that I like to do them, I like a mixture of them, is because you've got your local, you've got your long distance, and I love the fact that this is a relationship based industry, and we're creating relationships with people. So we need to spend time with them. And I love the face to face stuff, but once again, there's a lot of power with all the tools and resources and how small this world has gotten with technology and with the internet and all those types of things. It's a great day to be alive in this industry in this time frame, because we have so many tools and resources that weren't readily available even 5 to 10 years ago. All right. So really what you're going to do is you want these people to launch their businesses, and you want to have these launches, between 2 and 3 days from each other at the most, as we're getting things started. All right. So if we're going to hold these meetings, you want to hold them as a home meeting. They don't necessarily need to be a hotel meeting. These need to be small core groups of individuals that they know. I love the home meetings because people feel at home in someone's home that they're familiar with. It's not as, like I said, as business of as much of a business feeling as you get sometimes in a hotel, even though the hotel meetings have their place. And I'll kind of go through that this ladder of escalation as we put people through our processes here in the future. I'll go through some of those things. So let's talk about the different types of launches that somebody can do. They can do a launch meeting. And this is where you invite people over to your house for a business overview, where you explain the product and explain the company. And remember, when you get involved in the business, you have one responsibility, and that is to be an expert inviter. It's okay if you don't know a lot about the compensation plan or the product, or it's actually to your benefit, because if you did, you're going to be following the system wrong. You need to use third-party validation. You need somebody that doesn't know you, and that doesn't know your people, explaining the opportunity, that in their mind they don't know them any other way, so that they're the expert. All right. So these launch meetings, as we say there, you don't present to your own people. And the reason being, like I said, is because it's not what works. The question isn't what works. The question is always what duplicates. And you want to be doing things that other people can do, even if you have the ability to go out and do it all yourself. Do you know what? Your team doesn't. Okay, not everybody you bring in your organization has that ability. And so we want to do that. We want to make sure that everything we do, we can answer the question, does it duplicate? Like I said, it's not a question of does it work. So we also can do launch calls. We have webinar services that are free. You can use GoToMeeting. You have freeconferencecall.com. If you want to do conference bridge calls, you can talk with your upline and schedule those, where all you're doing is telling people to throw their ear to the phone and listen to what you're excited about. And so this is another way you can do it. This is good for long distance. This is also good for people that just don't have the time to take a night and come to a meeting. Maybe they don't see the value of it first yet, But when they hear a little bit about it, they're going to get excited and want to learn more. So you can do launch calls. We can also do a 3-step system where the step one, all you're doing is you're tying the person up with the information, whether that's a video that we're coming out with, or whether that's a recorded line or a recorded call, or whether that's talking to somebody else. As long as you're using somebody besides yourself, you want to make sure that you invite them to do something, and then afterwards, the step two is to get more information. If that is, you're sorting through step one to try to find those people that are interested. And we're going to teach and train you on some of the sorting tools that we have and that we're coming out with, so that you're not wasting your time with people that aren't interested. Guys, we don't need everybody. We don't need everybody. We just need people who get it and who want to be a part of this, and who are passionate about health and change in their life. And it's not too hard to fall in love with who we are as a company, because what we have is truly unique and real. All right. So step two is you're inviting them to get more detailed information once they've been sifted. Okay. And so if you understand, first is a sifting process. The second is to make sure that you're getting more information. And the third is you're going to get them in contact with somebody else besides you. This is where the 3-way calling comes into play. This is a huge benefit for especially those people in North America, because there's a lot of places in the world that don't have that ability to 3-way call. They have to do it through Skype. They have to do it through internet, different ways and different means. That way, if they want to bring multiple people in, if it's not face to face, we have this tool and ability in North America to be able to utilize 3-way calling on our phones, and what a powerful tool that is. Okay, so even though, like I said, we can do big group meetings, and that's what I'm here in Texas to do today. I believe that this business is really built on a smaller basis, on a 2-on-1. It's one of my favorite things to do, 2-on-1 presentations, and those can be done one of two ways. They can be called or scheduled, where you can call up and you can say, tell somebody that you want to set up a time to meet with them. Once, as soon as they have 15-20 minutes that you can get together. Or you can do what's called a drop by. And once again, I'm gonna go through how you do this here in just a minute. And drop bys, the reason I love this is sometimes you can't get people to come to you, and you can go to them. Drop bys are effective in the way, but with people that especially you have a good relationship with. This obviously can't be somebody that you haven't seen for 5 years, that you knew in school somewhere. But a drop by, what you're going to be doing is, a lot of times I love this just because I'll go to them, call somebody up, and say, hey, I'm going to be, are you at home or are you at work? Oh, I'm at home. I'm going to be in your area in about a half an hour. Is it okay if I stop by? Oh, yeah, sure. Say, well, cool, because I've got something I'm pretty excited to share with you. I'm not going to take too long. And I just want you to let you know I am with somebody. So I'll be by in about 20 minutes. And that's what I do. And even though that might seem a little uncomfortable to an extent, I'll tell you, the power of that is key. Because once again, I'm just going to give them the information. I'm not going to put pressure on people to do it, but they need to see it. The thing is they need to see it. And most people are making a decision based on inadequate information. They don't know what they're saying no to. They have no idea. So what we want to do is we want to give them that information. That's why it's important that you just invite, because if you're trying to explain things, one, you're going to get beat up. You're not going to understand how to explain everything because you're new. And the second thing is you're going to give them some information, and in their minds they're going to think that they have enough information to be able to make an educated decision when they really don't. Okay, so you want to keep it simple, and you don't want to say too much. So a simple method that's been used in how to invite is what I'm going to teach you here in just a second. But let's talk about some other online methods as well. I mean, there's a lot of systems out there. You're going to be seeing some Facebook systems that we're going to be coming out with that I know that you're going to love. Some simple tools, some simple lead generation opportunities out there, where there's a lot of stuff online where there's a visibility that, once again, like I mentioned, we didn't have a decade ago. So one of the things that you want to do when you're doing these launch meetings is you want to make sure that you're keeping these meetings to under an hour. 45 minutes is really where they should be, in my opinion, if you're doing a home meeting. You can close it up, and if people have questions, they can stay. But let's just make sure that we're getting the detailed information. Let's not take 2 hours to get them all the information. Let's keep it simple. Let's keep their focus. Another thing that I want you to understand is, I think the key to my success that got me out the gate is we did it fast. This business is so much easier to build fast than it is to build slow, especially with the structure that we have, where we have to build down. You're going to see, first you're putting your key people in place, but then once you start to see the spillover, once you start to see that this thing is building down and your people can see that and feel that, as it's pretty exciting. And it's easier, once again, to create that momentum when people can see that. Another thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you're using up-to-date standardized tools and presentations, because it needs to be universal. You don't want one person going to one meeting from one leader and then going to another meeting from another leader, and then it sounds like two separate companies, even though it's the same deal. I've seen that happen way too many times. Or you've got a good nugget of information from this person and that person, and you keep adding it to your presentation. Before you know it, you have 150 slides in your presentation, and your presentation is now an hour and a half long. Okay, you got to keep it simple. It needs to be your story, which we're going to talk about in the next section, which is the message and how we actually share the story and the opportunity with people as we break this thing down. But you want to make sure that it's duplicable. You want to make sure that the masses can do it. And once again, you also want to make sure that it's a system, okay, and that people can do it. Like my mentor told me, Byron, make your first $1 million my way. Once you've made $1 million, then you can change the system. But until you've made $1 million, do it my way. All right. And so that's what I would recommend telling all of you, that I know we all have a lot of good ideas. And as leaders, we can come together, once or twice a year and figure out what we want to do as a company and as a leadership group. And that's what we need to do. And that's what we need to stick to. So make sure that you're sticking to the standardized materials and presentations. So make good use of your upline and the corporate tools. Remember that I tell you, you need to be clapping your hands. If you want to be sitting on a beach drinking out of a coconut when everything is said and done, and you don't want to make it so that every single all your team needs you, and if you're not there, that nothing happens, what you need to do is clap your hands. So one hand is the prospect, or the person looking at the opportunity, or the potential customer. The other hand is the tool or the resource or the upline, and you put those two things together. If you are in the equation, you're not going to be sitting on a beach drinking out of a coconut in the future. All right? And that's one of the things that a lot of people don't know. Don't make it about you. This is not about you. This is about systems. That's why it's important that we have these tools and we put these tools in place to do it. So you want to make sure that you're prompt, you dress the part, you look professional. If you're doing a launch meeting, just some tips. You want to keep the furniture normal. You don't want all these chairs in the front room. If you need more chairs, go get them. One of the things that doesn't look good is if you have 15 chairs in your front room and you have 6 people that show up. Okay, then it looks like you were expecting a lot more people. Maybe you were, but it's a lot better if you only have 4 chairs in the room and you have to go get 2. All right, so you want to make sure that you add those chairs as people are needed. You focus on the guests that are there, not the ones that didn't make it. I mean, if you invited 10 people to come and they promise and they're your best friends and they swear in blood that they're going to come to a meeting, I'm here to tell you, you're going to be disappointed, because there's going to be people that let you down. It's just how it is. It's just part of the industry. There's nothing wrong with you. That's just what happens. So what you don't want to do if you have 3 or 4 guests there and they were supposed to have 10 or 15 is don't be so frustrated at the people that didn't come that you can't focus on the people that made the effort and are there. Okay, the people that are in front of you are the only people that matter. The people that show up are the ones that need the focus and the only ones that we care about, because they made the effort. Right there, they're showing us that these are the types of people that you want to be teamed up with and be able to move forward with. All right, so obviously there's more information that we have on this stuff, and we can go in a little bit deeper. But as we share the opportunity, there's really 5 C's. Now this is something that I was taught years and years ago. But I think that in the conversation as you're doing it, if you can make sure that these things are in your conversation, you're going to be doing the right thing. So remember these 5 things. The first thing that you want to do is create curiosity. That's all you're trying to do. Remember, you are the trailer to the movie. You're not the movie. If you're given a lot of information, you're trying to be the movie. And I could tell you about a movie, but it's not going to be as good as the movie. They need to see it. That's what the trailer is all about. You watch a trailer, hopefully it did a good enough job to get you excited to go see the movie. That's what we need to do. Create that curiosity. So we're going, you know, as you create that curiosity, you want to make sure that you control yourself. And what I mean by controlling yourself is just that. Don't give too much information away. You can let the person know as you're creating the, hey, I'm working with these guys that are doing millions of sales overseas, and they're bringing something to North America right now, and we're getting ready to launch, and it's ground floor opportunity with a company that's already got a track record. Or you can say, we've got a I'm working with these guys that have a breakthrough product. They've got a new concept and nobody's doing it. You can't get what they have in a health food store, and this is a huge opportunity. And there's a lot of different things that you can say to create that curiosity, but you want to control yourself. Okay, you also want to compliment them. You want to tell them why you called them. Hey, one of the reasons I thought of you is because I know how important health is to you. Or one of the reasons I thought of you, the reason I'm calling you is because I know how good you are with people. I've always wanted to do business with you. Think of the reason beforehand. If you know what these 5 C's are, think of the reason that you're going to compliment them. And if you really can't come up with a compliment, then my question to you is, then why are you calling them? If you can't think anything nice to say about them, why is this somebody you want in your team and your organization anyway? Right? You got to make sure that you compliment them, but it has to be genuine. Every single one of us can feel when somebody's not real to us, when they're talking to us and it's not genuine. We know people can feel it too. Okay. So once again, we're not trying to sell people. We're trying to give people the information so that they can make an educated decision. So you want to compliment them. And then what you're going to do is you're going to commit them. When is the soonest that you have 15, 20 minutes where I can sit down and kind of show you what's going on here? I have some time tonight or tomorrow at lunch. You want to commit them. Then once they've committed, as you're wrapping up that conversation, you want to confirm that time and confirm that commitment. Okay, so right before the conversation ends, we confirm, all right, so tomorrow at noon o'clock at this time, I'll be there. Look forward to seeing you. I know you're going to be excited about this thing. So whatever you're doing, you want to make sure that you confirm. Now, if I'm doing 3-way calls and I'm helping people and we're setting up an appointment, or I'm showing somebody how to do that and do this and teach them the process of inviting, one of the things that I do, and you might think that this sounds a little bit bold, but when you've been doing this as long as I have, sometimes you get a little bit bold. But if I don't know the person, when I'm doing that, when I'm confirming that commitment, I'm going to say, you know what, Mike, don't take this wrong. But, we don't know each other. Are you the type of person that says if you're going to meet tomorrow at noon that you'll really be there? I'll say that. Why? Because I've had a lot of people tell me they'll be there and they're not. I don't know this person, and I'm going to say that. And if I say that to somebody and they say, no, I'll be there, my chances of them being there really dramatically improve. So if it's somebody, like I said, that I don't know, if I'm on a 3-way call, if I'm helping or doing some training that way, I usually always say that. And if you preface it by saying, hey, don't take this wrong. I've never really had anybody be offended by that. So, sharing this opportunity, we also in the RAIN cycles, you print this out. There's some examples in there on how that works, where you can see how you would create the curiosity and control yourself and all those aspects of it. So in these examples, you can go through those and practice some of your own, guys. And that's the key, is make sure that when you get into a situation or a setting, you're already prepared. There's only so many things and so many objections anybody can have. And that's what I love about this. Those people that truly get engaged in this business, there's only a few objections that you're going to hear time and time and time again over the next, how many ever decades you're in this industry. All right. So it's not that difficult. Once you've heard those, you pretty much kind of know what to say, but really listen to them and see what you can't do to make what we're talking about a benefit to them. Everybody's wanting to know what's in it for me. Everybody wants to know. It's not what's a benefit for you or why it's good for you. What's the benefit for them? And so that's why, and we're going to talk about this more in the message, and I'll get into that. So I don't want to get off track. But here are some things that some people say, well, what do I say if they ask me what it is? You can say a lot of different things. Like I said, when I was younger, I was a lot more business minded or business focused. And now I see the power of, obviously, I was more focused on opening cities, states, countries, just focus on that. So when people would ask, well, what's this about? I would say it's about making money. Or you can say it's about making a real difference in people's lives. you can say, well, it's a lot easier for me to show you than tell you. Um, and with my friends, a lot of them know that obviously I'm in this industry, and it's network marketing, and I'm not ashamed of it. If people ask me what it is, I'm going to flat out tell them, absolutely, this is network marketing. I wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't. Okay, but you need to see what we're doing, and you need to see how we're doing it. Okay? I don't know what your experiences have been in the past, but you need to see what's going on right here, because this is what's happened to me. This is what's happened to our company, and this is what's happening to people that get on this product. It's fabulous. So, I mean, however you do it, you just want to make sure that you have confidence and that you realize what you're trying to accomplish. That's why it's always good to have your goals